As you guys know, I'm a big MCU fan. I am a co-host of the Marvelous Chats podcast. It's also on YouTube. I'll link it down in the description below this video. But also, like, feel free to Google, search it up on YouTube on the clickety bar, the search bar. Look for Marvelous Chats. We talk about Marvel news every week, MCU news, Star Wars news, all that. So that's how big of an MCU fan I am. I love doing a podcast weekly about this thing. So here is on the tier list maker. I found a tier list for all of the Marvel movies, and I'm going to rank them. It's hard for me to put them in. There's so many of them. It's hard for me to have like a top 10 list anymore because there's just so many of them. It's almost impossible to do a top 10 list. So I wanted to do a tier list for this thing, for what I found here. So let's start checking this out. And I wonder if we should do this maybe in like the timeline. Stay with me. I'll keep it kind of loose. I'll do the release order. I'll do it to the best of my knowledge here. But we're going to start with, is this Iron Man 1 or 2? This is Iron Man 1, right? Yeah, there's Obadiah there. Iron Man is definitely going to be an A tier here. I'm definitely throwing Iron Man up in there. A. Is it S tier? No, but you have to respect it because this is like the first real dive into the MCU. This is the thing that kicked it all off. And I still think it's a movie that like absolutely holds up. It holds up in a huge way. If you go back and watch the thing, it's still good, bro. It's still good. So I feel like just for your respect of it, I mean, I'm almost going to throw it into S tier just because you forget how bad superhero movies were before Iron Man. And some of them were good. I like the Blade stuff, don't get me wrong. Spider-Man was cool. But you got to remember how bad of a spot superhero movies were in before Iron Man was released. And it was bad, bro. It was fucking bad. So we're gonna leave it an A. We're going to leave S tier for like things I really think are masterpieces and special. But Iron Man gets the A tier. This is the Incredible Hulk, the only movie we've gotten that's MCU Incredible Hulk. This is starring what's his face? Not Eric Banner. God, what's the name of this guy? Why can't I remember his name? It's Fight Club. So Fight Club is in the movie, and I gotta be honest, man. I tried to go back and rewatch this. Edward Norton. There we go. Thank you, guys. I tried to go back and rewatch this when I did the rewatch with my girlfriend, and it's not as bad as you think it is or as you remember. It's worse. It's F tier, bro. The Hulk is F tier. This is some of the fucking worst MCU I've ever seen. I actually like the actors and stuff. I think they did a pretty good job. And that's what keeps me out of the question mark. But just in terms of story and like CGI, the CGI just wasn't ready for this, man. I don't know. There's a reason that MCU and like Kevin Feige has tried to forget this thing. There's a good reason for it. Trust me, if you go back and rewatch it. So what do we have next? I think we have Thor next, right? I think Thor is the next one to come out. I'm a Thor simp here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not somebody who tries to be unbiased about Thor. I am emotional about Thor. He's my favorite MCU character. I have his hammer back here. His hammer sits on my shelf of cool stuff that I love to have. So Thor. I know this might be controversial, but I'm telling you. I'm irrational about Thor. That's A tier, baby. That's A tier. Thor showing up. The introduction of Odin, phenomenal. Natalie Portman, fantastic. Her whole group of people, wonderful. The end boss or whatever, the big metal dude, great. Great. I'm going to say Thor is there. Wait, Iron Man 2 is next? Oh, shit. Well, Thor remains A tier. All right, let's go to Iron Man 2 then. Iron Man 2. I'm going to place Iron Man 2. I'm going to call it B. Iron Man 2 is definitely a B tier. Is it the best MCU movie? No, Mickey Rourke's performance is a little bit over the top, but everyone else in that movie did a great job. They recast War Machine. That was kind of fun. And I still think that the dynamic between Robert Downey Jr., Pepper Potts, and Happy, I think that their dynamic is at its best in this movie. I feel like it kind of started off in Iron Man 1, but I think it's even better in Iron Man 2. Like, it's so good in Iron Man 2. I can literally watch the 3 on camera all day long. Wait, that's Iron Man 3? I can't see, bro. Where's Iron Man 2 here? What the hell? Dun, dun. Is this it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, let's take that away there. Iron Man 2, B tier. And we fixed it. It's fixed. We're fine. Iron Man 3 is not going in B tier. Spoiler alert. It's not going there yet. What's up, Taylor? All right, so we have Thor that we placed here. What do we have next then after Iron Man 2? You'd give 2 a C? Ugh. What a terrible list you'd make. All right, let's see here. Then we had Thor. Then we had Captain America. Oh, God, yes. Captain America. Where's our boy Steve? Where are you sitting at here? Where's the first Avenger? Why can't I find him? Am I crazy? There's one. Here we go. No, I got taken care of, Clinton. I just went ahead and pulled it up. Mizuki's putting S tier for Thor. God bless him. Or Captain America. Captain America, the first Avenger. I'm going to go ahead and put this as an A tier. There's something about the Captain America movies that I just can't get enough of, bro. This is a complete throwback. I feel like this is one of the best origin stories we've ever gotten. The way they started in the 1950s and 40s or whatever, you know, all the way back in the day, and Captain was there, and his love with Captain Carter was fantastic. Tommy Lee Jones, I think, almost steals the goddamn movie away. He almost steals the movie away. It's so good. Bucky and Steve in this is so good. I think Captain, it's corny. It feels like the corniest out of all the movies. It doesn't even feel like it's part of the MCU at times because of the way, it's just such a throwback movie. What the hell? Is there a moth flying around in here? Hey, that's an A tier for me, man. 1914, 1950, same thing. Only a couple of wars. Agent Carter. Oh, I know, bro. She looking. 1940s. Yeah. All right. So next up, we're going to have the Avengers. Ooh, the Avengers. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I don't want you to hate me here. It is the first time we've gotten to see a superhero meetup ever. But if I'm going to have to if I'm going to have to really drop a list out here, God, I'm going C tier, bro. I'm going C tier for the Avengers, bro. I have to. It hurts to do it, but it really is mid. It's a mid movie. You know, Josh Whedon. Josh Whedon has kind of ruined a lot of the things in the MCU. Everything since Avengers has been has to have a punchline, and I kind of hate that about the MCU. Before the Avengers, everything was just kind of it could have serious moments and you could sit on it, and there's cool, we're just gonna do that. Then the Avengers comes along and everything has to have a Josh Whedon joke after every serious moment. It got a little bit cornier. I love that they brought everyone together. I thought that was great. That was fun. That was amazing. But it's just C tier though, dude, you know? Now you're just trying to be controversial. I'm not. Seriously. I really think the Avengers set up the MCU on a path that I just don't love as much as everything before the Avengers. Truly. Is Doctor Strange this weekend? Yes. I'm going to see it on Thursday. Can't fucking wait. All right. What do we got next here after the Avengers? We're going Iron Man 3, right? Already? Yeah, it's out on Thursday. I'm going to see it Thursday and I'm going to see it on Saturday. Iron Man 3. This is a tough one, man. Because I think it gets a lot of hate and I think it deserves none of it. I don't think you can hate Iron Man 3 truly. Now, I think it's not the best Iron Man movie. I think the first two were light years better, but it's fun. It's a good movie, man. It's decent. It's fine. I'm gonna have to put Iron Man 3 C tier. I was thinking about putting him D tier, but it's C. You know, the end of it, but the whole Pepper Potts thing was kind of dumb. That's what kind of keeps it down for me. But the opening of the movie is really fun. I love the way they use California in it. I love that. I don't know. I'm a fan. 3 is on tier with 2? What? No way. You think I hate Iron Man? I love Iron Man. Bro, Iron Man is like one of the first comics I ever read in my life. Love him. I mean, Iron Man 1's A tier, bro. He's up there. What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? All right, let me see here. Next up, after Iron Man 3, we have Thor: The Dark World. Now, you guys are going to fucking hate me. You're going to hate me, but I said this earlier. I'm not rational about Thor. I can't be. I cannot be unbiased about Thor. There is no way for me to do it. There is no objective way for me to look at Thor. I fucking love the character. I love Asgard. I love all the supporting characters. So when I do this, don't just think that I'm an asshole. Just know that I'm an asshole. Because I think Thor in the Dark World is a fucking A-tier movie, dude. I love this movie. I went back and rewatched it a couple months ago for the Marvelous Chats, and it's just so good. It's fun. Seeing Asgard, the graphics in it, it's like phenomenal. I love it, dude. I can't get enough of it. Thor: The Dark World's an A-tier movie for me, man. I don't want to hear any hate for it. I don't want to hear it. I'm a professional, here. I'm just giving you my opinion. It is an A-tier movie, man, and I don't understand why people hate this movie so much. You guys don't know what good is. You don't deserve Thor. He's lovely. All right, next up. We have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Whoo. Captain America and the Winter Soldier is the first time that I believe the MCU broke through to a different level. And they've done this a couple of times where they transcend their own genre that they made. Now, this isn't really a superhero movie per se. It's really a political thriller. And they cast it perfectly by bringing in the king of the political thrillers, Robert Redford, who was just so fucking good at this movie. Steve Rogers in this movie is great. The Black Widow, Bucky, Falcon. This is where we got to know everyone a little stronger. Who to trust, who not to trust. It was dope. The fight scenes in this movie are still some of the best fight scenes we've ever gotten in the MCU. This is the Russo brothers' first swing at an MCU property, and they're opening the way they open this thing up. Black Widow and Cap joking on the Quinjet or whatever, him jumping in the ocean, him coming and beating up all the people on the boat. It's one of the best openings you're ever going to see in the MCU, bar none, man. Bar none. Excuse me. You think the opening was the only good thing about this movie? You're out of your mind, man. Bro, the way that the helipads and like the Sam Jackson and him arguing with Captain America, you not knowing who to trust, Sharon Carter, her whole deal. Dude, this is an S tier movie, bro. This is S tier. The opening's not only dude, it's not just the opening that's a great fight scene. The whole scene that they're on the street when they're fighting Bucky. And he's got his rocket launcher and he's like about to kill everyone, but he's not. Then you have like Captain America when like Bucky's like trying to take off in the helicopter. He's like, and like Captain America's like, no, you're not going to do this. Ah, like it's fucking so good, dude. That's some S tier content, man. What are you talking about? Winter Soldier's S tier. Holy moly. So good, bro. Love it. Love it. All right, let's see here. Next up, we got the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, this is an easy one, man. James Gunn's first foray into the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the first thing that made us think that the MCU could be something bigger than just kind of Earth, right? And they nailed it right out of the park. Guardians of the Galaxy, fucking A tier, dude. A tier. Got one of the best soundtracks you've ever heard. The way they introduced all of these characters. I mean, there's not anyone in the Guardians that I don't love. I loved every one of these characters. And the way they're all introduced, the way they bond as a family that like incredibly quickly is something that we haven't seen in the MCU from any other team. They're tighter than the Avengers.
Oh, wow.
James Gunn killed them this. Everyone in it was just fantastically cast. Yo, Mental, thank you for the tier 3 for 40 months, baby. Tier 3 sub. Holy moly. Yo, thank you for the tier 3, man. That's insane. A 40-month streak is insane. Mental, what's your favorite MCU movie? The Big 40. Couldn't believe how good Drax did. Oh, dude, Drax killed it, man. Killed it. And then, oddly enough, this is something I never understood in the MCU. Right after we got the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, we got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 back to back. It never made sense to me, but hey, here we are. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This is a movie I actually watched last night. And I'm gonna... I'm gonna give this one a B tier, man. I'm gonna set this one in the B tier. Going back and watching it, the visuals are just so good. The ending gets to me every time. Yondu and his sacrifice for Peter, their relationship of like your father versus your dad. They're just so great. Kurt Russell, I thought, did a fantastic job of this movie. Tons of fun. Visuals, of course, were amazing. The whole journey of Rocket self-discovery was great in this one. Nebula was just wonderful. Mantis was fantastic in this. I didn't like Guardians 2 too much. You didn't like it too much? It's definitely one of the harder ones like to place. I don't know why, but when I watched it last night, I was like, dude, I actually love this movie. So it's like a B tier for me. And one of the things I think it does really well is that it really sets up, like people always get on Peter for what he did in InGame or Infinity Wars, where he they could have stopped Thanos, but he fucked up because he's too emotional. And then if you go back and you rewatch this one, and Peter finds out that Kurt Russell's character Ego killed his mom, he immediately starts blasting him. He doesn't even like wait a second. He just like pulls his guns out and starts laying into him. And it's that kind of emotional response that like sets up Peter's moment in Infinity Wars. I think makes it work so well. So, I mean, James Gunn is so good in this, man. Poor Hulk, look him down there. Don't worry, we're almost there. Captain Marvel's coming up. Avengers Age of Ultron. Someone unplugged your speakers? Oh my god. Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm gonna have to say this is a solid D, bro. This is a D movie for me, bro. I am not a fan of Age of Ultron. I think Age of Ultron is one of the weakest MCU movies we've ever gotten. I think the whole bit with Quicksilver was a little too forced. There's no way Quicksilver dies there. Like, it's just a forced moment for no reason. I do like seeing all the Avengers get back together, but I just thought that Ultron was a little weak. There's some great moments in the movie, you know, Steve moving the hammer or whatever. Vision being created, some cool moments, but overall, I just think it's kind of weak. I think the story's kind of whack. I think the way the movie looks, like the color correction they did on it makes it look like ass. It just does not hold up for me, bro. Favorite OG Captain America? That's a good one, man. Tony and Bruce are great in this one. They are pretty good in this one. You're not, yeah, they are great together. But it's just a D. It's just Like, I even thought that the moment when they're in the gazebo and they're all fighting together as Avengers, I thought that moment sucked. I thought it looked dumb. I don't know what it was. It just didn't work for me, man. It just didn't work. This is the last time Josh Whedon was involved with the MCU, I believe. And I think it's for good reason. He left us on a terrible note, and I'm good riddance. Good riddance, you fuck. All right, next up, AntMan. AntMan. I'm gonna go ahead and say AntMan is a solid B tier movie. I love the introduction of AntMan. He's one of like the first new MCU characters that they introduced by himself. Scott Lang played very well by our boy, who I can't think of his name, Paul Rudd. I thought Hank Pym, the way they brought him in, I thought the whole way they tied Ant-Man and Ant-Man's little universe together with the Avengers and with the Starks and stuff, I thought that was done great. I thought the visuals in this thing were amazing. The only thing I don't think I loved about this movie was the villain. MCU kind of had a problem with the villains, and they still kind of do, where it's like the villain is just the hero, but like mean. And like, it just, the jokes were good, but it did nothing to like transcend into an A. It was just a solid, awesome movie, but it did nothing to like bring it up to like A tier in the way that the other ones did. Okay, Thanos. All right, what else we got next here? Captain America Civil War. This is a weird list. I got the wrong list. This one's not, okay, this is what's going on. I grabbed one that wasn't the release order. That's why the Guardians were messed up there. I see. Okay, so Ultron, AntMan, Captain America, Civil War. We're pretty much right on. Captain America, Civil War. Ooh. I'm going to have to put Civil War. It has to go A tier for me, man. You think Civil War is S tier? I'm going A tier. That's the Hall. No, the Hall's still here. We're going to do it right after this. Like it might be S tier, bro. It might be S tier. I'm trying to think. It's really good. You know, of course, you got all the Avengers fighting each other. The airport scene is one of the funnest scenes ever. The only thing that kind of was weird about it is that there wasn't that many Avengers. You know what I mean? This has to be one of the best villains we've ever seen in the MCU. Zemo, like getting the Avengers to work against each other and had like an honest to God good reason. The way that it goes along with Age of Ultron was great. They gave him probably one of the most honest reasons to be a villain and to hate superheroes. Yo, Supreme Rain, thank you for the 51 months. I appreciate you, man. Tier 1 for 51. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Steve Kerr and the Chopper alone is S tier. True. And then the fight, yeah. And then you got the fight between Iron Man, Bucky, and Captain America at the end. That thing was amazing, bro. Okay, you convinced me. Civil War is S tier. We're bumping it up. This is really one of the MCU at its finest, when everything's like on all cylinders. It's so good, man. I had to do it. We have to go up. All right, next up we have Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange here. This is like the golden era of the MCU right here. We're in the golden era right here. This is why everyone loved, like, you know, everyone loved it, man. Like, once you get Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like, once they released that, they were in a golden era for like 3 years. Because right after Civil War, do you know what we get? Doctor Strange. Which honestly might be the best MCU movie ever made. And I'm being 100% honest about that. It's a masterpiece. Benedict Cumberbatch acts his fucking ass off, bro. The Chosen One. He's it. The Ancient One's even great. And Dormammu was like some of the coolest visuals we've ever seen in the MCU. Dormammu was sick. Mordo was good. Mads Mikkelsen was nuts in this movie, man. Strange is S tier, and it might be the best MCU movie that there ever was. So let me see if I can't move him up there. There we go. I love Doctor Strange, man. We got Multiverse of Madness coming out in a couple days. And Doctor Strange is just, it's fire, bro. It's absolutely fire. See you, Westman here about off topic thing. All right, I'll check it out later. Only rewatching it on Saturday was even better. Yeah, I just got done rewatching it a couple of days ago too, man. Like, it's just cool, bro. The intro, Bending Reality. Oh yeah, when they do like the Inception stuff, but it's even cooler than Inception because they're doing it with like magic and stuff. It's like a kaleidoscope. Oh my God. Yeah, Doctor Strange is fire. Love it, love it. All right, next up we had Guardians. We already did that one because I did it out of order on accident. Next up, SpiderMan Homecoming. Our boy's coming home. I'm gonna get SpiderMan Homecoming. I'm gonna have to put him A. We're gonna have to set him up here in A tier. Spider-Man. This is the best opening we've ever seen for Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I think that Marvel did everything right. They actually put him in high school. We got to watch a high school Spider-Man, which is nuts that we hadn't gotten that yet, really, right? Like Tobey Maguire, he was in high school, but like he didn't look like he was in high school. There's a bunch of 25-year-olds running around acting like they were 15, and it just didn't feel right, bro. See, Tom Holland is like actually the first time I felt like I was watching like a teenager play Spider-Man in high school. Once again, just like just like in Civil War, the villain in Homecoming, played by Michael Keaton, amazingly by the way, is one of my favorite villains in all the MCU. I feel like they set him up perfectly. I felt like he had a great motive. The way he wanted to do stuff for his family, the way he hated the Avengers, the way he hated Tony Stark, all this stuff like wrapped up together was just such a good, it worked. Everything worked about it, man. I loved it. So that it's got to go A tier for me. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but you know. Have you seen Moonfall? I have not seen Moonfall. Good sir. All right, let's see here. You're in it. You saved the world. Everyone has told me I am not the dude from Game of Thrones, bro. I'm a handsome, chubby, white dude who wears glasses. It doesn't mean that I'm the dude from Game of Thrones, all right? Oh, how dare you guys. All right, what do we got up after Homecoming? Fuck, man. Thor Ragnarok. All right. I do not have a Thor movie on my list that is lower than A because I'm irrational about Thor. I fucking love Thor. We've established this, and I'm continuing that trend. Thor Ragnarok, S tier. One of my favorite MCU movies. I don't know why people complain about this movie at all. It's too funny. I laughed too much at all the funny jokes. I had too good of a time laughing. What are you talking about? All right, it'd be one thing if these jokes didn't work. All the jokes were fucking hilarious. Aside from that, this is one of the best action movies ever made, dude. The screenplay for this thing, it just kept rolling. It kept moving the entire time. It's one of the best paced action movies I've ever seen in my life. Loki and Thor in it are incredible. The Grand Master was amazing. Hulk in it was fucking nuts. Thor vs. Hulk for like the 18th time, but I just can't get enough of it. Valkyrie being a drunk was fantastic. Some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in the MCU, and then some of the most badass moments. When Thor comes back, and when Odin's like, you know, saying goodbye to his sons, one of the most heartfelt moments in the MCU. All right, we do not deserve that in superhero movies to get that kind of performance out of Sir Anthony Hopkins. All right, but we got it, and it was amazing. We got Doctor Strange in this movie. He was looking great in his yellow gloves. They need to bring him back. And then when Odin comes back to Thor at the very end, he's like, "What are you, the god of hammers?" He's like, "No, you're the god of fucking thunder." And then the song hits, and it's like, da, 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 da. Like, it was amazing, bro. Thor Ragnarok is S tier, and I'm tired of people acting like it's not. All right, it's just fucking awesome, dude. Oh my god. Yo, Finto, take it easy, bro. Oh my god, it was so good, bro. Love Korg. Korg was so good in it too, man. Oh, fuck. This is such a good movie. I can't believe it gets the amount of hate it does. All right, what do we got next? Black Panther. Whew, man. I don't think I've seen as many people excited to go to the movies at the time than Black Panther. Excuse me. I mean, people lined up for this thing. Going to the movie theater and seeing everyone dressed up was insane. Where's the thing? Right here. Black Panther. Now, as much hype as this movie had, the soundtrack was thumbing. Love the soundtrack. But I gotta be honest, man. This is just like a mid-C movie for me. It's mid. I don't know why it doesn't work. I feel like they redo the same fight scene like 3 times in this movie. I feel like Killmonger is a little bit doesn't work for me. The performance, although I know a lot of people loved him, the performance to me was just kind of weird for Killmonger. But the visuals in this thing were stunning. It's just story-wise, like, and when I say visuals, I mean everything up until that last fight scene, because that last fight scene was atrocious. It was atrocious. But up until then, like, seeing the whole idea of Wakanda be developed, seeing this new land for the first time was fucking cool, man. But yeah, Black Panther I don't know, man. It just doesn't work for me the way I want it to. I'm very excited for Wakanda Forever to see what they do with it. But I think when it comes down to the story of this one, I really feel like they just kind of stalled out in the middle and then repeated itself. It's probably A tier for you. I can see that. I can see why people love this movie so much. It's just for me, I feel like the story and the writing was kind of circular for no reason. There wasn't a good payoff for it. Next up, Avengers Infinity War. Woo! Oh my God. Avengers Infinity War. I'm gonna have to put Infinity War up at S tier, bro. This is one of my favorite MCU movies. I think the opening to this thing, the first hour and a half, is damn near flawless. Damn near flawless. From opening up to Thor to getting Hulk back to Earth, all the way up to like Wanda and the Vision, and when Captain America comes in to save them, like that was so good and solid. I love the outer space scenes with Doctor Strange. Of course, we get to the planet with Thanos and that whole fight scene when they meet up with the Guardians. That was cool. This is like what's the MCU on every, like firing on every cylinder. And then shockingly, we end the movie with them losing. I was stunned when I saw this movie. I tried to remember back and think back, and I was absolutely stunned at the very end of this movie how they lost. And like we lost a lot of heroes. They just like faded away. They got dusted. That was shocking to me in the movie theater at the time. And I give them all the credit in the world, man. Infinity War is an S tier move for me. Love that movie. Can't wait to see it time and time again. All right, so then we have two movies in between Infinity War and InGame. The first being AntMan and the Wasp. As much as I love AntMan, I'm going to be honest, man. AntMan and the Wasp, that's kind of a D tier for me, bro. Ooh. It's kind of a D tier movie for me. I just feel like the story sucked. I just feel like it just wasn't that good. I don't like the villain of this one, Ghost. I think they could have done her a little bit better. Lawrence Morpheus was in this. He was all right, but he didn't blow me away with his performance. This kind of felt like just Ant-Man done again. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, except like it just feels like Paul Rudd is too lovable. Yeah, like probably a C for you. Like Paul Rudd does kind of save it up to a C. I could totally see that. But for me, it just like if I look at some of the C tiers in there, I'm like, you know, I think Black Panther was a lot better than the Wasp or Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's hard for me to stick it into C tier. I'm just gonna leave it at D. I could push it up to C, no problem, but I'm just gonna leave it there. You can totally see that. How dare you? How dare you? I mean, I might drag down, you know. Yeah, never mind. All right. So after that, we have Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a must-see viewing in between Infinity War and Endgame because that's what they told us. And while I think that the chemistry between Sam Jackson and Brie Larson was amazing, there was just so much of this movie that I thought stunk. I just thought the story was bland. And I'm a sucker for the 90s, don't get me wrong, but I felt like the story was just meh. I don't like the way that they, you know, Sam Jackson's eye, how he lost his eye or whatever, or got scratched, was like a joke. I hated that. It felt bad. I'm not one of these people who's like, Brie Larson needs to smile more and be more likable. I'm not like that. But she definitely needs a little bit more charisma in this. She's not like a draw in this movie. There's nothing about her performance that's like, I want to see more of that. And then say in the ways that like Scarlet Witch does that for me, where I'm like, Scarlet Witch is like pissed off, but there's something charismatic about her in that role. Captain Marvel, D, big D for me, man. Your Captain Marvel Defender, B for you, really? I'm losing my voice today. So funny in the comments. I hope they add a character in the Marvels. I agree. I like Captain Marvel in the comic books. She does joke a lot more. They just made her so serious. And like, even her jokes were like low key and like, yeah. What do you think, Smirk? I don't know. Didn't work for me. Man, we're almost at the end of this. This list is long, bro. Holy moly. Spider-Man Far From Home. Oh, no, InGame. InGame is easily A tier. But I think that it has a lot of pacing issues. I think there's a lot of this movie that feels like it gets stalled out, especially in the middle. But I love so much of this movie, especially the back 40 minutes, half hour, the The end fight scene when Thanos shows up at the end to fight could be the best 30 minutes we've ever seen in the MCU and that we'll ever get. It was amazing. When Tony Stark, Thor, and Captain America go to fight Thanos for the final battle, it's one of my favorite scenes ever. When Captain America picks up Mjolnir and take Thanos to town with fucking Mjolnir, I mean, it was part of the pun. It was electrifying in the theater. It was truly electrifying to be in that theater and feel the energy when like he picked it up and everyone's like started going nuts. You know, when Thanos shows up with all his thing and Steve Rogers thinks he's beat or knows he's beat and like straps the shield up again. And then everyone starts coming out of the portals and like, he's like, Avengers assemble. I get emotional, bro. I don't know why. I truly get emotional. I teared up the first time watching it. I can admit that. It's sad. Sure. It's embarrassing. A little bit. But I cried when Steve Rogers said Avengers assemble. I fucking cried, dude. Like, I love that movie for that. But because of the first two parts of the movie, that's why it's not hitting S tier for me. It's A, but I love it. It's some of my favorite MCU. That last half hour was incredible. What do we got here? Spider-Man Far From Home, the first movie after InGame. This is going to be a solid C tier for me, man. You know, I love so many of the parts in this movie. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is phenomenal as Mephisto. Mephisto? No. What? Why can't I think of the name? What the hell? Oh my God. The M guy. Maestro. Why can't I think of his name? Dude, I'm just out of here. Anyways, Jake Gyllenhaal was fantastic in it. But I just like, I don't know, Spider-Man Abroad, I like Spider-Man at Home. And I also, you know, I'm one of those people who think that like Spider-Man having too many gadgets was a bit of a bust. Spider-Man's better when he doesn't have all those gadgets, right? Like it's funner just to watch Spider-Man be Spider-Man. And so you take him out of New York, which like Spider-Man is New York. You take him out of having, you know, just getting things done on his own and, you know, it's just a C tier. Honestly, it's almost a D tier too for me. But the visual effects in it were amazing. And the way it sets up the future of the MCU is really cool too. Where's Venom? Venom would be F. Venom would be a solid F in my list. All right. Black Widow. Excuse me, everyone. My voice is really going today. I would have to say Black Widow. I'm putting Black Widow at E, man. Walking out of this movie theater, I actually really liked this movie at first. And I think what I loved about this movie was her family. Yelena and the Red Star guy from Stranger Things and the mom from The Mummy. I like their interactions with each other made me think I liked this movie way more than I did. Because I thought they were great together. I thought they were amazing together and had so much heart. And then once I started watching the movie again, like on a second rewatch, like the story just kind of makes no sense at all. It just makes no sense. I like the idea that it's like kind of a Bond movie, but it just really falls apart. The story just doesn't really work. This movie, like the first two parts of this movie feel like a completely different movie from the last half, the third act. And honestly, the second act feels like a different movie than the first one. The visual effects in this thing completely tear me out of it. I'm someone who tries to like, you know, go a little easy on visual effects sometimes and not like crash a movie because it has bad visual effects. This was unforgivable. Like the visual effects in this movie were a dumpster fire. And this, you know, is the first one after COVID. You know, they probably had some problems because of COVID. I get it. But still, this is what they put out. You know, this is the end product. This came out too late. This should have been done earlier. It's just, I don't know, bro. Need more trippy Mysterio scenes. Yes, there you go. Spider-Man needs all the Mysterio scenes. Thank you for giving me his name. ShangChi and the 10 Rings. I feel like ShangChi for me is going to be the opening scene to ShangChi was so incredible, but it took too long. The middle of the movie, or the bus scene at the very beginning, was amazing. The fight scene at the fight club was amazing. And then after that, I just feel like the movie did nothing. I feel like after that, we kind of lost its way. We had, the comedy relief changes. It gets so weird. And the thing I really didn't like about ShangChi is that, I feel like he didn't struggle. In every MCU movie, the main character struggles up until the very end. It has to, overcome something to become the hero. And I watched Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, and I'm like, what did he overcome? He just didn't really, didn't really feel like he got challenged in any sense in the movie. Because, I don't feel that way. Shang-Chi is probably going to be a E tier for me here. I'm going to put it right there with Black Widow, but for different reasons. Visually, I thought it was stunning. I just felt like the story could have been way better. I felt like Shang-Chi kind of looked boring too. I don't like his outfit. If you go look at Shang-Chi in the comic books, he looks fierce. He looks his uniform or whatever looks just loud and fun. And then his face is so intense. And Simu Lee just doesn't look like that martial art expert that's going to kick your face off. And then his outfit's just super bland. So not a lot about Shang-Chi worked for me outside of those first fight scenes. Just wasn't there for me, man. The Eternals. Where's the Eternals here? This one. I'm actually going to put the Eternals. I actually really like the Eternals, man. I don't know what it is about this movie, but it worked for me. I know a lot of people disliked it, but the Eternals is actually a B tier movie for me, man. I enjoyed a lot of it. The third act of it kind of stunk in terms of the way the story unfolded, but I thought visually this thing was gorgeous. I like the way that the story of everything played out. I think they kind of held back on the idea of Ajax being killed. I feel like that reveal was really surprising and good. Visually, I really love Angelina Jolie's look and the way she used her abilities. I thought Druid was cool as hell. I think all the main characters in it were amazing looking. I feel like they felt like a family. I like the way they took it along throughout the time. I love this movie, man. Eternals is crap. I liked it, bro. I don't know what it was about it, but it was very charming to me. And I'm very excited to see where they take the Eternals in the future, because as much as we talk about the X-Men needing to come into MCU because they're such a pillar of Marvel, the Eternals are a huge pillar of Marvels that we've been missing. And now that they're in there, there's going to be so much more opportunity for their stories to unfold. It's like having a whole nother Avengers that they just got up to speed real quick. Cause they're huge. The Eternals are huge in the comic books, and I'm excited for them there. Then we have SpiderMan No Way Home for the movies. SpiderMan No Way Home. Ooh. Man, this one's... it's got to be S tier, right? S tier. They're pulling together 20 years of storytelling into this movie, and Spider-Man No Way Home had every right to fail. It's such an ambitious story. They're pulling in from two different franchises into a third franchise that is the MCU. They pulled Andrew Garfield in, they pulled Tobey Maguire, and they made it work, and they pulled their villains in with them, and they told a story that was intriguing. And it took Spider-Man from a character who felt like he had a really light origin story to make you realize that he had a 3-part origin story out of his whole trilogy. It's so well-rounded. Visually, it's so exciting. Having all three of the Spider-Man together and all the meta moments they had were just so good, man. Here comes the Spider-Sense. How do you not? How do you not, man? Love it, bro. Love it. Spider-Man No Way Home, S tier. All right, that's all the movies. Now here's what we got left. The TV shows, the MCU TV shows. WandaVision. WandaVision is a show I feel like I need to go rewatch real quick before I want to rewatch the series before Doctor Strange comes out on Thursday. But the WandaVision put a bad taste in my mouth from the very beginning because I didn't really like the 1950s, 1960s television show. I think it's a very interesting gimmick that I think worked for a lot of people. And just for me personally, I just thought it was like a gag that went on a little bit too long. Instead of having like 4 different episodes where they went through the decades that way, I wish they would have had one episode where they like flew through the decades like that. I get what they're trying to do. I think it's a cool, ambitious idea. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And that kind of like tainted it all for me. I don't like the Ralph Boner deal. I don't like how they were teasing Mephisto and like seriously teasing him. It wasn't just people reading into too much. They teased his ass. I'm on the fence about WandaVision. It's your favorite series? Really? It was slow for you? You didn't like it at all? Very slow. 1950, 60, same thing. I think I'm going to go C tier for it. Because I like what they're trying to do. I like Vision in it. I like the way they incorporated the rest of the MCU into this one. But I think it's going to be C tier for me just because of the beginning. But I feel like it really picked up at the end. But it's still just a C for me. Sucker for those emotional moments. Hey, I get you, man. I get you. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This to me is one of the weakest MCU shows that they've put out. I was very, very excited for this one. I was very excited to see Bucky. I was very excited to see Sam take over the mantle of Captain America. I feel like this is a show that got caught up in the middle of COVID and them having to rewrite the show. And it just kind of came off as a mess. I think the villain for this show is absolutely dumb. I don't like how Sam was like making so many excuses for her when she's literally like killing people at orphanages and stuff. Like she's a terrible villain and they try to make her sympathetic. And I don't think they made her sympathetic. There are villains in the MCU like Nemo, who's in this one, and like Vulture, who come off as sympathetic villains. And you understand their reasoning, why they're villains. This one, it didn't work for me at all. I think they tried to set up the evil Captain America too hard, when really he's the best written character in it. We're supposed to hate him and like he's an absolute monster, but he's like the best written character in the whole thing. Like he's the sympathetic villain. It's the story of somebody who is being used by the government to the point where they drove him fucking crazy. And I feel like that storyline parallels a little bit with the Black Captain America. I forget his name, but the first Black Captain America, like those stories kind of like dovetail with each other because it's like the story of the government abusing people and individuals and then just like leaving them out to dry. And it's like fucking so good. So there's a lot of this show that I think is good. But then, like, the whole Sharon Carter storyline wasn't that good. I feel like Nemo's storyline was underdeveloped. I feel like Bucky was totally wasted in this show. Bucky could have had a better part in this. I feel like Sam is underutilized in the show. I feel like Sam could have been better. It felt like it was a half-baked idea because it had to rewrite stuff for COVID. And because of COVID, it's E for me, bro. Nah, I'll go D. I'll go D. It's D for me. I'll go D. Next up, Loki. Loki. This was the Marvel show I was very excited for because I'm such a huge fan of Loki. And I thought this was their most ambitious idea yet. The whole idea of the time comps and stuff and the TVA. And then I just hated it. I hated almost every aspect of the show. I felt like the only thing that was good in this show was Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston's chemistry. Them sitting at a table talking to each other was phenomenal. Every other part of the show made no sense. It was lackluster. It felt like a bait and switch. It didn't feel like Loki's show at all. It felt like it was a show that was there to set up Loki's counterpart, Sophie. And like she was all right, but she wasn't as intriguing as Loki. You know, they took the most mischievous person in the MCU, Loki, who we all love, and made him the most obvious bland character who we knew he was going to do the whole time. And it just felt like he got led around on a kite by everyone in the show and had no agency. They took the god of mischief, a god of Asgard, stuck him on a train, and had some security guard toss his ass out the window. This show felt like it was written by people who had never watched the MCU, who didn't understand the continuity in the MCU, how strong people are. Like the fact that I saw him get whipped out the window by a security guard was mind-blowing to me. And then I don't feel like he had any big character moments in this thing. Nowhere near like he did in Ragnarok. You know, he should have had a bigger role at the very end. The Loki variants were really fun. But I gotta be honest, man, Loki is fucking E tier for me, bro. Like it's just, I despise the Loki show. The only thing that's good about it is Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston talking to each other. Other than that, dude, I can't stand the show. I hate it. I hate it. It's an A for you, Humdrum? Oh my God. Yo, what's up, Buckle Brush? Ragnarok yesterday, top tier. Bro, S tier. 3 left. What if? What if? What if? What if? What if? I feel like I don't know how to place what if. Like, I feel like I'm going to leave what if down here with a question mark. Because honestly, some of the stories were really good. Some of the stories, not so much. Overall, I did not like the animation style. I thought it was fun to look at first. And then the more the seasons went along, I just did not end up enjoying the animation style whatsoever. It just felt boring. I don't know how to rank it. Like it's so all over the place. You think what if's a C? I could see that. But for me, I just don't even know how to rank it. I just want to leave it down there. It feels like too much of a box to unpack there. It's too much. Good old Hawkeye. Hawkeye was a show that I felt like started off so incredibly strong. And I loved the first couple episodes of it. And then I feel like they didn't really stick the landing that much. I feel like Kingpin was criminally underused in this. They teased him for too long, and then he was in the show for too short. I wish they would have revealed him in like episode 2 or 3, and we would have had more time to deal with Kingpin and Hawkeye. I just felt like the story had nowhere to go because they're trying to hold back too many secrets. You know, I think for being a Hawkeye show also that he doesn't fire his bow enough. He only like shot his bow like 3 times in one episode. See? Yeah, Hawkeye feels like a D to me, maybe like a C or a D. I thought him and Kate Bishop's chemistry was really fun to watch. I love the dog. Pizza Dog was amazing. D or C? I think I'm going to stick it at C because the bridge scene was super fun to watch. Also, the scene where they were in the car chase, that scene was amazing. I think it's a C. I wish it could have been better. I really do. But it's just kind of middle of the road. And then finally, Moon Knight. This is a show that we got 1 episode left. So I'm placing this one kind of incomplete, so take it with a grain of salt. But Moon Knight has been my favorite MCU show so far. I believe they're going to stick the landing because they've been doing such a good job. But for me, Moon Knight is an absolute A tier. Oscar Isaac's performance in this is incredible. Incredible. The fact that he is able to pull off so many different characters on screen at the same time and have them feeling like they're interacting with each other and have emotional connection between the two of them. That's an absolute talent in Oscar Isaac and the editing team. I think visually the show's been really great so far. I love Arthur Harrow. I love the exploration of Moon Knight. The only thing that keeps this thing from being S tier is that I wish we'd get a little bit more fight scenes. And I'm not saying it's bad because it doesn't have fight scenes. But so far in 5 episodes, we've only seen the Moon Knight fight once. And if I would have seen that a little bit more, it probably goes up to S tier. But because of the lack of fight scenes, it's probably going to stick at A. Only because S tier is something special. A tier is fantastic. But like if they would have more fight scenes, you know, it probably pushes it up. Moon Knight's nothing special for me? What? That's crazy talk. If you only watch it around Christmas time, oh, this is Hawkeye. If you only watch it around Christmas time, I can't watch Christmas stuff outside of that. Yeah, maybe. You like ShangChi? I liked it a little bit at first, but I rewatched it and I just kind of, it fell off for me. I love The Incredible Hulk, but for some reason, people think it's the worst. It's not good. Look, if anyone wants to such a fan of The Incredible Hulk, it's like my Thor. Don't trust him. I can't believe you put Iron Man 2 over Avengers. Look, I know what you're thinking, but I actually think Mickey Rourke's acting in it there's something charming about it that I love. Hey man, my bud, my bud. Like Whiplash is such a fun character. The racing scene in the very beginning when Whiplash like unveils himself is so fucking good, dude. Shang-Chi started so strong, got weird. I agree with that. Like the MCU in Phase 4 has had a third act problem. I don't know what the deal is. But Black Widow, Shang-Chi, the Eternals, they get to the third act of the film and it just goes off the rails. I can't watch Iron Man after Tony dancing the Christmas song scene. Look, he's drunk, man. The man deserves a drink. Shang-Chi in the same row as Loki seems a bit harsh. It's harsh, bro. That's my tier list. That is my MCU movie and TV series tier list. Doctor Strange is probably my favorite movie inside the MCU. Like, it's a masterpiece, like, truly. The Winter Soldier's up there for S tier, obvious reasons. Civil War is one of the coolest fight scenes we've ever gotten over and over again. Some of the best villainry. Ragnarok's phenomenal. Infinity Wars is such a classic. I can't even talk about it without getting emotional. And No Way Home. Those are the S tiers. Predict where Doctor Strange 2 will go? I think it's going to A tier. What's the question mark? That's a what if down there, which I didn't know what to do with it. I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be S tier. I mean A tier. But we'll see. Because I'm nervous about Multiverse of Madness the same way I was nervous about Spider-Man, where there's so much going on. It's so easy for them to fail, right? It's so easy for them to make a bad movie because they're trying to do so much wild shit. So I'm predicting it an A. I hope it's an S. Marvel has a villain problem after Thanos' soul-sucking demons don't cut it. Yes, they definitely need villains like Arthur Howell from Moon Knight. They need villains who are meaningful. When Hulk pops up in the Avengers and says, "You want to know my secret? I'm always angry," and then smashes the big dragon space thing, amazing. C tier.